Not My Family is a highly fictionalized, loosely autobiographical narrative that describes generational bad will, poor choices, financial malfeasance, and even murder. The generational craziness is propagated like a tidal wave, threatening to drown everything in the deluge. Secrets are buried deep in lies, pacts sealed in blood, the truth concealed unto death, just to exert some control. I hate rubberneckers. It's kind of like, or this book is kind of like rubbernecking. The 30-mile pileup or 30-car pileup on I-75. You want to look away, but you're drawn to the carnage. Join me as the protagonist progresses along self-discovery and she recreates her identity and she discovers how to go home again. Not My Family can be purchased at FeliciaBaxter.com or directly from the author. Just navigate to Facebook, look up Dale's Angels Inc. and click Buy Now for your autographed copy. Now, let's return to the podcast. Thank you for joining me for this week's episode of TNFro's Medical Minute. This week, I'm just excited because I continue to find new ways to use all of the toys I have in my house. My front room of my home looks like Mission Command with multiple laptops, double screens, etc. I get to nerd out on all the new medical technology and ways that other people with money can get paid by investing in innovation that's going on right now in precision medicine and biotech. Um, and I'm also just primarily excited that I bought this um, microphone with a boom the beginning of this year, and I'm just starting or gotten around to use it. And it's pretty cool because it actually makes my voice sound clearer. At least I think it makes my voice sound clearer. So, and I've used it for this episode as well as my previous episode of TNFro is Reading. But I digress. In this week's episode, this will be my first in a series of this month's series as far as breast cancer awareness. I've started a Facebook campaign to raise money, and I plan on doing that for the rest of this month. My hope is to be able to raise at least $1,000 and donate it to Susan Komen. So go to navigate to my Facebook page, either Lenny's Code, Not My Family, or just my Felicia Baxter's Facebook page if you would like to participate. Or within the post itself, you'll be able to go directly to that Facebook link to make your donation. And I'm going to thank you in advance. But I will also like to start this week's checklist. And if you comment, noncharily comment on the breast health checklist, I may actually read those comments online. I will also post where there are mammography units in Tennessee. We'll discuss AIs. A group at MIT has predicted development and use of AI to predict the likelihood of breast cancer development. That's pretty cool. And this week's hot topic that I'm going to be discussing, not only breast cancer awareness, but also hepatitis C, as well as my other updates and updates to Hannah Corner and biotechnology financial performance as per usual. And also, as per usual, I may not go in this particular sequence, but I hope you will continue to listen to the end and enjoy this particular podcast. There's a lot of information coming your way, and I can't wait to share it with you. And thanks again for listening. Hey y'all, this is TNFro, aka Felicia Baxter, a relative newbie to the podcasting game. In an attempt to continue to live my best life, it seems as if I always have some type of hustle going on. Traveling Vineyard, India Hicks, writing my book, which is titled Not My Family, dropped last week. All of this comes at a cost. It's not free. It takes effort to create a buzz and to create content. I just need one person to start the stampede to my site, one person or company to become a patron, one person to buy my book and proclaim it to be the best thing since sliced bread. So please navigate to http://patreon.podbean.com/the to donate to my podcast, and also navigate to www.feliciabaxter.com to purchase my book. In advance, if we don't speak, thanks for your support. Welcome back to the episode. This part of the episode is becoming more and more pronounced or profound to me because, as I said before in previous episodes, my niece Hannah is going to make her splash, hopefully, in biochemistry or some type of engineering, hopefully. But right now, she's given me probably one of the best home remedies that I still use, and that is my turmeric honey Dead Sea mud mask that takes away all of the puffiness and inflammation that surrounds my eye when I don't sleep very well, and my skin has never felt so much softer than it has been. But what I also have been doing is a special tonic that I mix and drink with my medications. The older you get, it seems like you have to add meds, but I find that this particular combination, I started after my birthday because I needed to kind of detox and give my inner being a jolt, and I call it Felicia's Tonic. It's a combination of ginger, lemon extract with a splash of apple cider vinegar and cucumber and jalapenos. I basically combine those things with filtered water, and I basically been sipping on it all for the last couple of weeks, which I thoroughly have been enjoying. And I think if you need a little bit of pep to your step and a non-boring way to wash down those conventional medications, that's a way to start. And while I'm on that subject, I wanted to mention that she, and as well as my nephew, will probably be testing for the PSATs and SATs soon. So you got to go to those specific sites for your state, find out the testing dates and the sites, and get your kids registered and pay those fees. Also, don't forget, while you're at it, get your financial information together, social security number, and fill out the FAFSA, the Federal Financial Aid Form. If you do not have a type of savings, a 503B or C, that's going to put your kids through school, That is going to need to be filled out and filled out soon. What their Pell Grant eligibility, as well as any other type of grant eligibility that they're going to need to be able to move on to the next step of higher education. And while I'm here, I think I'll just go into just a reboot of some of the things that I've been following for the past couple of weeks. The vaping epidemic. There are several states that have now withdrawn or banned vaping products from the market, with Massachusetts leading the way. And also some schools have actually banned them on their campuses. Why did it take so long to basically say you shouldn't do this? Because we've had, I think the last count was about 12 deaths. So there you go. And they've traced it back to probably contaminant with bootleg products. And in response to that, you've seen the major manufacturer of vaping products, Juul, has basically they said they've gone into quiet mode, and they have removed all of their advertisement from in the United States. But then I saw another one of their competition, Blue, they're actually ramping up. So we'll continue to follow that and to see where all of this washes down. And I also saw an alert from the Tennessee Health Department about the mandatory reporting of vaping related illnesses. I haven't seen anything from North Carolina, but then again, for the first time, I let my North Carolina medical license expire, because my intent is to not practice medicine, as it were. Again, rewriting that narrative for myself. But anywho, the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma, it seems like they are now going to settle for a raggedy $20 million as far as with the state of Ohio, in lieu of going to court. We're going to see how that's going to pan itself out. When the last estimate, it takes about $5 billion a year to manage that particular crisis. I also saw something that was actually really interesting, that it's called Operation Double Helix. There were about 32 people arrested in a multi-state, scam, Medicare scam of $2.1 billion. I cannot even fathom that. That they are, some of the things that they're doing to defraud the government. And I think one of the last ones that I saw, there's a guy in Loxahatchee, Richard Garofoli, the owner of Lotus Health, was indicted on 13 of those charges, including conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud. It could be punishable up to a 20-year max sentence. I hope they find all these guys and all these illegal operators and all these people that have scammed for unnecessary genetic testing, as a way to backdoor and to make money at the expense of the general public and the government. I think it's wrong, and I think it's horrible. And they also are going to need to pay for it. With that said, and he scammed them. They billed for $326 million, and they got paid about $84 million before they shut them down. So good, that's good news. They say the persecution squad of the Medicare fraud unit. That's how they're making it pay for itself, because these people that go after these fraudsters actually make a percentage of it. So again, go after the fraud, go after the big fish, and you can actually get paid. I don't know if it's like whistleblower 15%, but that's a lot of work to be able to climb through all of those things. But these guys were just so egregious. They got caught with their hands literally in the cookie jar. Good for them, and I'm glad they are going to be prosecuted appropriately. And this is something that I was thinking about that I actually am going to update you guys about next week. The continued attack on the uh, affordable healthcare act, and also while you were sleeping, this is also a kind of like an update on other things that just don't make sense. For example, there are not only has there been an attack on the Affordable Care Act, there you go, ACA, there has also been an attack on other Democrat as well as even GW's days, things that Trump doesn't understand, and he says, okay, I don't like it, so I'm just going to piss people off and just roll it back. But while we were sleeping, there are 85 different environmental rules that are being rolled back under Trump. Several of them are being challenged in law, and there are certain things that just don't make sense. Why would you not protect our natural resources? Why would you make uh, air pollution and water pollution and rolling back infrastructure and planning because you say it places an undue burden on businesses? But why can't we build and protect all of these things responsibly because they are an asset to us? Just because it doesn't affect you in your ivory tower directly, why do you think it's okay to roll these things back? Who is your advisor? Because who's ever advising you to basically make our environment, just to destroy our environment, they need to be fired as well as you need to be put out of office. And that's all I got to say about that. But in my next segment, I'll actually make sure that I keep you guys up to date about what those 85 environmental rules really are. And I just gave you an overview of what he actually is thinking about rolling back and who he's fired and who their budgets have been cut because the EPA has taken a major hit in the past 400 and some odd days, and it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. And whoever it is that gets this next term is going to have their hands full because all of these things were passed bipartisan, and now through a stroke of a pen, he has destroyed in almost 15, 20 years of good government. He has basically destroyed with just a stroke of a pen. And I think it completely blows my mind. But what I am going to be following up on, because it pertains to something else that I was actually following in a few segments ago, was the rollbacks on water pollution. Because there are a total of 7, but there are 5 that have been completed. And what I basically, my issue with that is because I had mentioned the pollution or undrinkable water in Michigan, as well as that was going on in Pennsylvania. I think the rollbacks are going to affect the cleanup efforts and the provision of clean, safe, non-toxic drinking water to those particular populations, and also a growing population in general. So stay tuned for definite follow up on that ongoing story. Well, as I become more and more and I get paid more and more to work, I get to practice my craft in many different ways. I've publish my own book. I update my blog, and I also publish this podcast. But what's going to keep it all moving smoothly is when I get other paid assignments. Well, I wrote this copy for a very useful uh, cleaning device that I first became aware of when I stayed with a colleague of mine in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had no idea that the company or they're manufactured right down the road in Dalton, Georgia. But it's a very perfect addition to any cleaning buff or OCD person. It's called Peachy Clean. And I am going to read you the copy that I wrote because I'm kind of proud of it. And I thought it was actually pretty good. I'm what you could call a self-described scrubaholic, which makes my relationship with the Peachy Clean scrubber a bit eccentric. But that makes sense because a scrubber does have a personality disorder. It looks like a sponge, but kicks butt as a heavy-duty scrubber. The lattice work of the silicone gives it the feel of a sponge and allows it to hold soap and water more readily. It also gives it the durability that keeps it from permanently damaging your ceramic stove tops or scrape that unique non-stick surface on expensive cookware. And when it's paired with the non-abrasive disinfectant, it makes quick work of the soap and scum in your bathroom. And you ever notice that stench emanating from that sponge, like the dust from Pigpen and the Peanuts cartoon? It's the perfume made up of the byproducts of mildew and pathologic bacteria that are having a love fest in the sponge. The bacterial brothel, yes, I stole that from a different writer, raging within those holes and crevices of traditional sponges that make them absorbent are the condos of salmonella, slime-causing, smelly, dangerous organisms. But the Peachy Clean scrubber with that silicone matrix allows it to scrape off burnt food and particles, rinse away pesticides, all without leaving a sticky film. It is one of the best on the market and economical, with benefits of durability with pots and pan scouring, but also soft enough not to scratch up your delicate surfaces or bruise your fruit and vegetables. Repeat cleaning will get you about 2 or 3 months of odor-free, heavy-duty usage. It's so reasonably priced that you'll easily be able to replace it. And literally, it's locally sourced, y'all. It's right down the road from Chattanooga in the state of Georgia. For those of us that require an A+ health department grade cleaning of our kitchens and bathrooms, this guaranteed odor-free scrubber paired with surface-specific cleaning solutions is the one to beat. So join other scrubberholics as we keep it clean and keep it fresh with Peachy Clean Scrubber. Now, back to the podcast. Well, welcome back to the podcast. Listen, I have noticed one very disturbing thing today, and I'm a little annoyed because I don't get to use my noise canceling mic, but to record the next several sections of the podcast. But I did notice that I'm actually recording this part of the podcast at Popeyes. No, there are no chicken sandwiches, and I'm just getting boneless wings with some onion rings, but that's neither here nor there. Today in the stock market, everybody went down. As far as the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it dropped almost 500 points. The NASDAQ lost 123 points, with the S&P 500 losing 52 points. Apple finished down at by 5.63, which is not bad. And then my other stocks, Exact Science, they didn't drop too badly. I think the worst was First Trust Healthcare, which dropped a whole percentage point, as well as iShares of Global Healthcare EFT, or ETF, which dropped 1.2%. 1.05 percentage point, and the S&P healthcare, which dropped 1.43%, which is not bad. Everybody else finished down just either a half to 3/4, a little over 3/4 of a percentage point. So that's not such a bad day for biotechs today. And I like these, as I stated in the summary. It seems like everybody's kind of trembling with the nonsense that's going on in the White House. And there is a bit of a market correction before there is another rally. I mean, that's what I'm actually hoping for. And some of these stocks actually have a pretty good bucket and handle form to their graphs as far as a potential for a very good potential rally in the next several days to weeks. So just keep a lookout and don't give up hope. Now, welcome back to the show. As I stated in the introduction, this week's and the subsequent weeks shows are going to be in celebration of or increasing awareness for breast cancer. And one of the things that I actually have on the podcast notes is a checklist. Uh, it asks questions as, are you over 40 and what is your family history? When was your last mammogram? You want to catch the type of foolishness like on that mammogram that's on the right hand side. Again, in the podcast notes, not to be you. And if it is you, you want it to be taken care of as early as possible. Also, there are high resolution or 3D mammography that's available through most insurances now. And there's also even breast MRI for high risk patients. Just find out what your insurance covers and what is covered under the what's available in the mobile units as well as what your insurance will cover. Um, I also wanted to just discuss some new developments because I've been talking about precision medicine as well as utilization of the data that we actually have. Well, it seems like this crew from MIT has developed an algorithm used to predict the development of breast cancer. And I'll actually be following up on that bit of a detail. Now, on to hepatitis C. Back in the day, now it's been almost 30 years since I've actually graduated from medical school. Hep C uh, was known, and there was no real treatment except for ribavirin, which is a suppressive agent, as well as TNF alpha. Both of those were nonspecific and had a very broad profile of side effects because of their effects on the body and on regular tissue. And they did not offer a cure. Well, now with the advancement of precision health and some of the genetic medicine, we have been able, the medical community has been able to develop true cures. But what exactly is hepatitis C? It is a disease that is actually spread through contact, through contaminated blood. Um, it can be spread not just through like needle sharing, because we did see a high incidence of those that were currently IV drug users or formerly IV drug users. The issue with this stupid disease is it can go into hiding and then can become reactivated in years. If you look at it, and in short, for the nerds of us, it is a type of virus that has 6 different forms. And it's like a stinky fart. It too, uh, it's the silent ones that can be the most deadly. This disease works to hide and evade your immune system. And I want to say it is an RNA virus. Okay, this is annoying. And the problem with it is, with this hiding and evading, it causes what is considered a necrotic inflammation, that it basically invades the cells, it bursts the cells, it causes even more inflammation, leakage of seriously enzymes that then go on to continue to cause inflammation. The inflammation calms down, but the cells are irreparably destroyed and is replaced by a big old scar. Then what goes on is the inflammation continues, not just in perpetuity, but it continues until the point where every time the virus itself probably replicates, um, or the cells themselves try to repair themselves, lo and behold, there are errors that are made. And not only it can cause viral resistance, but it also can turn on the oncologic process, and then it can flip into hepatocellular carcinoma. And that's probably the latest stage of this particular illness. So and I say that it's a collective we, in our zeal to eradicate this virus, that has led to the development of more, as I said, specific drugs to fight it. Um, and just getting back to what I was stating before, yes, hepatitis C in all 6 of its forms is an RNA virus of the flavivirus family. And the virus itself is actually encapsulated, and it is the uh, late stage that can the transformation into hepatocellular carcinoma that could potentially be the most deadly. However, the whole goal of treatment is to prevent that from happening. So newer medications like Harvani and Epclusa, in combination with some of the older and even the newer drugs, actually prevents this from going on. And I like drugs like Harvani because it keeps the virus from copying itself. It prevents the errors in replication that contribute to the viral resistance. So not only can we get rid of the virus, we have the ability to kill the virus. We also have the ones that slip through, we can actually keep them from replicating to cause issues with it, so it can continue to be treated. And in all honesty, I think that's pretty baller. So please navigate to the episode's notes, and you can actually see some of the histopathology, as well as the drugs used to treat this illness. And if you suspect yourself having some hepatitis C or some other type of hepatitis, there is treatment available for you, but you're not going to know that until you speak to your provider. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode of TNFro is Reading. Please join me next week as I update you on any comments that I've received as far as the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And also, please don't forget to read the notes for this week, because not only I continue to talk about breast cancer awareness. I plan on, or I have started a fund for a fund specifically for contributions for my mother, and it looks like I'm gonna have to start off the donation myself. But for those of us that would like to contribute, let's see. You can actually navigate to my Not My Family or Dale's Angels Inc. Facebook page to actually donate to Susan Komen, or just do it directly to the Susan go directly to the Susan Komen website to actually make that donation. You don't have to fool with me at all. And I am figuring out how to actually embed this in my podcast. And I think I have. Let's see if it'll let me do this. I wonder if it'll let me do this. Discuss AI. And I always ask for money at the end of the show. So I'm hopeful this is not going to Command V. Let's see if it'll do that. There. And it'll actually take you directly to my Facebook page. And it did. Hopefully it'll let me see. Woohoo! It'll let me see it when I think I'm going to have to probably fix it again when I actually post it to WordPress. But it actually worked that I embedded the post to my to the actual notes, but also don't forget to navigate to www.Dale's Inc. for all special offers and updates on nerd news, and the Unwoke Chronicles, where I'm trying to only keep up with selective things in pop culture. And also to please answer this week's poll as it has to do with breast health. You can send it to TNFroisreading@gmail.com, or you can leave a non-trolly message, 2 minutes max, at 423-463-0658. And I'll actually read the comments online. And I'm actually going to be posting a poll, the effects and the effects of breast cancer in our community. And I think you will, it will be helpful, and it will be to most people as we navigate this month's breast health awareness. And stop being, and for all of those, people, we always ask you money to donate for special causes. But how about the special cause of this show? Stop being freeloaders. Put 5 on it. Please leave a tip for me at paypal.me/Felicia DAI. That's again, paypal.me/Felicia DAI, and navigate as well to the Podbean page to become a patron to support the content that I hope you will enjoy. And this is crazy that this week is, this is global warming at its worst. With It's going to be 100 degrees today in Chattanooga, and I'm hopeful that you are in the process of ending your week on a high note, and that you get to work in a place that you actually like and with coworkers that you don't want to throat punch. And as always, be smart, be present, just don't be stupid. Have a great day.